Ask yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are lucky enough to be working right now, are your salaries keeping up with the inflation of those things that we need to live? Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Listen, with everything that's going on, with all the craziness that's going on, I want to go ahead and read this article for you real quick. I actually have a couple excerpts from different articles to show you all, just to remind you to keep your head on a swivel. Look around and see what's going on. We as preppers, we don't prep for today. We prep for tomorrow, we prep for next month and next year and so forth. So it's always good to take a look and see what may be happening in the months and years to come in order for us to gather that information and make our best educated efforts at prepping for what's yet to come. And I found this article very interesting, although a couple of months old, still very relevant. And I have a couple of excerpts from a couple other articles that you're going to be very interested in seeing. This one reads, rising food inflation and shortages may lead to the worst civil unrest yet. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons why there is civil unrest in many other parts of the world is because of food prices going up due to food shortages in those countries. And I'll show you an example here in a couple of minutes after I go through this one. It says here that food costs have soared this year, but may head even higher due to poor crop production combined with declining stimulus, and that civil unrest could occur. And what I'll say is that if food prices go up to a certain percentage of a person's income, that there will be civil unrest, because there's only so much that a person can pay for food before they have to start taking away from their housing, from their transportation needs, from their everyday needs like clothes, for their kids to go to school. All of these things play a factor into people getting fed up with having to pay so much of a percentage of their income just for food. It states here that food shortages may develop thanks to the Derecho in the Midwest. All right, and you all know by now that the Derecho was that land hurricane that took place in the Midwest that dropped more than 10 million acres of corn and other crops. At the same time, I'm sure you all know that we've been exporting large amounts of grains to China. So in addition to our crops being devastated, we're also exporting, sending out some of the largest amounts of grain that we've ever exported before. Price inflation for food has already been on the rise, and that's a fact. That's something that you know is true if you do shopping. This comes as permanent job losses and scale-back stimulus reduce household income, leading to a rise in potential unrest. Several factors are forming the perfect storm for food shortages: higher prices at the grocery store or outright hunger heading into 2021. And I've read to you all several articles stating where major food banks in this country say that they will not be able to feed people past a certain date in 2021. And in addition to that, not only are food banks right now stocking up, but so are states as well, and grocery stores, supermarkets, and a lot of people that used to not be stocked up or prepped up are doing that right now. So what is important about this message that I'm putting out today is that if we know that food prices are going to be going up and we have extra money right now, extra fiat currency laying around, why not use that to go ahead and secure our future food needs with that money now, instead of letting that money sit around and collect dust and just become less valuable? The impacts of the food hikes have already hit your wallet, but may go beyond the economy, ripping the fabric of American society itself. And it has nothing to do with just America, ladies and gentlemen. This happens in any country where a person has to spend a certain percentage of their income on food. The percentage is usually around 40%. If you have to spend 40 or more percent of your income on food, you're going to be very upset with the powers that be. And you're going to be asking questions, and you're going to be out on the streets asking, why in the world am I spending so much money on just the things that I need to live? Food production hit by storms. Farming has always been a hit or miss proposition. Favorable conditions combine to form bumper crops. Unfavorable conditions lead to lower production, which drives higher prices, and that's just common sense. This year, poor weather conditions, including hurricane-level winds across the Midwest, combined to ruin nearly half the grain crop in Iowa alone, just weeks ahead of harvest. The loss of crops such as corn, wheat, and soybean has massive impacts on the entire food chain, as these grains are essential components of nearly all processed foods. So from protein to dairy to junk food, prices are likely to keep rising across the board. And that is the message. Prices will continue to rise, ladies and gentlemen, not only because of natural forces, but because of man-made forces as well. It's going to be the perfect storm, as this article read earlier. The perfect storm where we're going to have natural causes, man-made forces, economic forces, geopolitical forces, all come together. And when they all come together at the same time, it's going to create havoc. And we will be paying the prices that they're asking, because where else are we going to get the food? So prepare now while food prices are still manageable. Economic woes to worsen as millions of Americans go hungry. Food prices had already been trending up, reaching their highest levels since 2012. And look at the food prices, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see this chart. It goes from 2010 all the way up to 2020, where we are now. And it just dipped from its highest. It just dipped a bit from its highest. But do you really think that it's going to come back down? No. If this was an economic stock chart, a stock chart, this is what we would call a bull market. All right. It's just going up and up. It's trending up, not trending down. Unlike other commodities, food prices never really dropped after their last rise either. Instead, they traded in a range for years. And what they mean is this, ladies and gentlemen, that it traded in a range. You see this right here? It's got a range from here. That's what they mean. But now, as you can see, it's just going, this is what's called a hockey stick. If you see that, it looks like a hockey stick. And to finish it off, it says here, with declining economic stimulus, including that for those with now permanent job losses, the combination of rising prices and lower incomes may cause this ratio to explode. The ratio they're talking about is how much of your income you use to purchase food. How bad could things get? By the end of the year, as many as 50 million Americans could be fighting hunger on top of everything else that 2020 has thrown their way. The impact that rising hunger can have on the economy, to say nothing of the fabric of society, is anyone's guess. Rising food prices have been considered a catalyst for the unrest that exploded into the Arab Spring back in 2011. It wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to see otherwise ordinary Americans driven to such an extreme either. Since the beginning of the 21st century, food prices have risen 2.6% a year on average. Now, let's concentrate on that 2.6%, all right? Because I remember I did a video a while back where I said that food prices are estimated to go up 400% between 2020 and 2030. Someone left a comment on there that said that in the last 10 years prior to that, that food prices went up like 250%. Or that they average 250% every 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, and I left that person a reply stating that yes, maybe it doesn't sound like a lot, but does your salary keep up with that inflation? Ask yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are lucky enough to be working right now, are your salaries keeping up with the inflation of those things that we need to live? And I would say that for the majority, it's no. Continuing on. But recent factors have slowed food price inflation. And it says here the change is only temporary. Once those downward pressures abate, food prices are expected to resume their usual regular upward trend. So ladies and gentlemen, if food prices are reflected to go up, let's say 2.5% a year, which I feel it's a lot more than that, but let's just say 2.5%. And here the Federal Reserve and the government are telling us that the inflation rate is only about 1.8%. It sounds to me that if they're inflating the monetary supply by only 1.8 to 2%, and food prices are going up by 2.5%, that food prices will continue to go up. You need to have a regulated number of dollars in the system in order for it to continue to be able to buy you those goods that are available. So if the inflation shows that it's less than what food is being produced, then your food is going to be costing you more. All right, so just with their own words, it shows you that food prices will continue to go up. And to finish it up, I got this last insert from this article right here. It was published in August of 2019, but it's very relevant, and let me show you why. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to go ahead and just show you a quote from this article right here. By the way, I'll go ahead and leave the link to these articles at the bottom of the description of my video. But listen to this quote. If you want to predict where political instability, revolution, coup d'etats, or interstate warfare will occur, the best factor to keep an eye on is not GDP or the Human Development Index or energy prices. If we were to pick a single indicator, economic, political, social, that I think will tell us more than any other, it would be the price of grain. And they're talking, of course, about civil unrest in countries where food prices have gone up dramatically. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are headed if things continue to be the way that they are now, meaning geopolitical events, meaning internal strife, meaning the weather, right? Meaning the economy, meaning the outrageous printing of money. We will end up paying most of what we earn on a daily basis just to be able to eat and feed our families. This is the time that you need to prepare. This is the time that we have been given to prepare. And I hope that in the years to come, we will still be able to prepare. But it's just going to be a little more difficult every year. Because like I said, inflation will outpace your salary. Inflation will continue to outpace your salary, ladies and gentlemen. If for any one reason you were to start preparing, it's for that reason, because you know that the amount of money printing that's going on is going to cause prices of things to go higher than what your income will go. So prepare now that you have the time, that you have the income to do so. Even if you're on a budget, just do it a little bit at a time. Even if it takes a couple of years from now for the apex of this food shortage to occur, at least you'll have enough stocked up that will allow you to get through the crisis. All right, ladies and gentlemen, having said that, I hope you guys are having a good day today. Thank you very much to all of you who joined in on the live stream yesterday. I had a really good time, and I really needed to hang out with you guys that day. So thank you very much for joining in. Having said that, have a great day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm the Alaska Prepper, and I am out.